Yeah, it's my birthday today, so
That's
that's
awesome.
exciting. We are in Palm Springs right now, and I've done so far some super exciting stuff on my birthday, like talk to health insurance companies.
Fun.
Yeah, my favorite thing to do, and
Walk
also
the dog.
walk the dog, shave my legs.
Real
'Cause-
birthday
Nice.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Hi.
Well, I mean, Palm Springs is for the evenings anyways. Like, you're not supposed to do anything all day. You're supposed to be, like, lazy all day.
Yeah, you're supposed to lounge by the pool, and it's weird. It is like empty here right now. Like nobody is here. We were like, for a while we were like, are we the only people staying at this hotel? Is it
Felt like
just
the
us?
Overlook. The
That's my
desert
favorite.
overlook.
That's my fucking favorite thing when you go out there and no one's there. I that's like the one place I do go is Palm Springs. And man, I love it when no one's there. It's the fucking best.
It is the best. I think people like looked at the weather and they were like, oh, it's gonna be like 69 degrees there.
Not nice.
Not nice. Not nice for Palm Springs.
Yeah.
It's a little chilly for Palm Springs, it feels nice to me. And yeah, it's like the main place that we go to because it's 2 hours away. We can like,
Exactly.
drive and bring the dogs. Are you based in California too?
Yeah, I'm like an hour and 15 minutes away from you right now.
Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah, I live in
I think you said this
I live
last
in
time.
Mentone,
Oh, okay. Nice.
which is like a weird little area, but it's basically the Inland Empire, like San Benito area.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, I think we did talk about this, but I don't know. Whenever I'm talking to people on podcasts, I just assume they are in New York, because
Podcast Central, capital of podcasts.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. You YouTube in LA, you podcast in New York. Them's is the rules.
exactly. Because in New York, everyone has faces for radio.
Boom. Roasted.
I know. I need to get into Twitch streaming now that I live in LA.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what you do, Matt. You Twitch stream because
Yeah, but I don't do it. Take it to the next level where you're walking around with a power pack and like a streaming apparatus to stream you going, everywhere. That's the real move.
That's what Hassan does.
I've been like hate watching a bunch of streamers and YouTube creators. I did not know about Casey Neistat. I hate watch that person. I hate him. And then his brother has this channel that's who I discovered him through, is his brother. And I hate him, and I just can't stop but watch every episode. Like, I loathe these people, and I just have to watch them. This guy has an episode called The Spirited Man, and it's all like man stuff because he's a man guy, because he's a crafter. But by crafter, he worked for Tom Sachs for a long time.
Okay.
So it's this like weird like faux handyman, but it's ridiculous. But I love it. I hate watch it, and I'm like, see, I'm a good person because I'm poor. Because if I was rich, I'd be this asshole for sure.
It's true. There's a lot of TikToks that are very, I'm rich and you're poor, and this is the difference between us. I have an organized I have a freezer that's just for different colors and shapes of ice that I organize. You keep your chicken nuggets in your freezer.
I pour a bunch of nacho cheese and chocolate on a marble countertop in my kitchen for some reason.
Yes, and with
that one's great. That's all one lady.
Yep.
That blew my mind when I found that was all one lady doing the toilet stuff and the marble countertop stuff. Like, and she's a real weirdo. Too? She does toilet stuff. She does like she makes like sundaes in the toilet. It's
some of us just like to spend Sundays on the toilet.
Yeah.
And then she does weird feet stuff. She does weird feet videos too.
Oh.
What's her name? What's her ad?
I don't know her name. I don't know her name, but she does this thing where she like puts like shaving cream and nylons and puts like the nylon on the sock and acts like she's being grossed out by it, but it's like, you do this all the time. This is one of your things. This has millions of views.
That's so weird. So the nacho cheese on the marble island is like the most normal thing that she does.
It's the most normal thing she does, exactly. Yeah, just because there's cookie dough and it doesn't make her too weird. It's the foot stuff for sure.
That's inspiring because it means that one pervert really can change the world if they're devoted to their perversion.
Yeah.
And have you seen the most recent the boards where they
butter?
The butter boards. Yeah. But what was the one I said I wanted to do one recently and with something different, but I can't remember what it was now. God damn it. Well, I'm gonna have to cut that part out. Yeah.
A butter charcuterie sounds kind of cool. Like, I mean, I don't even eat butter really, like actual butter, but I respect butter. I get it. I would like a variety of butters, maybe different toast.
Yes. So what they do, so when I first heard of butter boards, I expected them to be doing that, to put different types of butter on the board and serve it with different dipping things. But instead what they do is put one type of butter on the board in a bunch of different places and then give you one dipping thing. And I'm like, well, why have a board at all?
Well, sometimes they'll vary the dipping things, but I mean, how different will the butters be? I mean,
well, you do a sweet butter with honey and a little bit of salt, and then you have to dip in it a roasted rosemary toast, and then in another butter you have garlic and a little bit of
oh yeah, you're right, they don't do that.
No, they don't do that.
Yeah, it should be compound butters.
Yeah, it should be
I follow a guy on Instagram who's a butter guy. He does different, and he's he's towards innovative. Dude, you're just mixing delicious things into butter, and it rules. It absolutely rules.
I mean,
let's not act like you're just making butter-based dips instead of mayonnaise using butter, and it's awesome.
It's great. I'm surprised there's not yet a new term for fancy butters, like the way there's a term for fancy mayonnaise, aioli.
Aioli, yeah. They need an aioli for butter.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's inevitable.
Well, that sounds like a good time to start the podcast. Hey, everyone, in case you're confused or got lost and are suddenly listening to this and you don't know what you're listening to, this is Low Culture Boil, the trash podcast about trash culture, hosted by Trashy Babes. I'm your host, Amber Rollo, and we're missing Rax. She had a work issue. She got stuck in a PowerPoint meeting. I'm not sure I understand exactly how or why, so we're going to get an update on that later. But today we are joined by Tony Boswell of Minion Death Cult podcast. So excited to have him. Thank you, Tony, for being here.
For sure. I am so happy to shine a light on the dark underbelly of Minion culture.
And we are also joined by Matt Christman of Chapo Trap House. Thanks for being here.
Of course. Always happy to pitch in.
And yes, today, as Tony just said, we are talking about Minions. And I had to ask Tony if he would be on because he is the resident expert on right-wing Minion memes, which is just a really interesting little subculture that suddenly exists.
Yeah. I'll say it honestly, my co-host Alexander is the true expert, but the caveat is I also have a 9-year-old. So I actually also know about I also know about the movies too.
Yes.
So I do know more than most about the Minion memes. Alexander just is he's the true expert. So I yield to him, but I bring the expertise of fatherhood and knowing about Despicable Me and knowing about the Minions for real. Because even if you didn't want to, you will watch some of those movies.
Oh, for sure. They are huge, these movies. They're ginormous. I mean, if you don't know who the Minions are, you must be living under a rock. You definitely don't have kids, that is for sure. But
you're full of shit. You're just lying. You're lying to sound like you were too cool, or you don't have any even nieces or nephews or something. You know what a fucking Minion is.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that when people are like, what is this? When they comment when I'm talking about something from popular culture, and then they comment underneath my post and they're like, what is this that you're talking about? Because if you don't know what I'm talking about in popular culture, if you don't know, if I put out a post about memes, about Minions, and you don't know what they are, that's fine. Maybe that's possible.
Maybe you lived in a cave in Antarctica.
Yeah. Oh, just like the Minions did. But if you comment that you don't know what they are, you're lying. You are absolutely lying. Yeah. I call bullshit. You could have just as easily Googled that shit. You were trying to look cool.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you're trying to I don't have cable them, Yes. I don't watch TV.
Yes.
Like, okay, cool. Good for you. Good for you.
Which is actually very funny because the creator of the Minions, who we'll talk about a little bit later, his name is Pierre Coffin. He's a Frenchman. I did my best on pronouncing that name. I don't speak French. I'm not good at accents. This is something about me that Matt knows, and
That's very funny.
he tries to make me do accents all the time. But when he was growing up, his parents didn't allow him to watch television. So, and he is like the creator of the Minions. He created so much television, but yeah, he was one of those guys who didn't have cable. He just read stories and did art, and is actually created something that has a cultural impact, which I'm not going to do because I grew up on TV.
I bet he encountered the Smurfs in comic form. I believe they were a comic before they were a cartoon, because the Minions are part of a tradition of little guys,
little colorful guys. Yeah.
I
mean, the Minions, again, if you lived under a rock, they're little yellow guys. They're
kind of shaped like pills.
Yeah, they are shaped like little capsules.
Yeah, accurate. Yeah.
Little
beans.
Yeah, they have either one or two eyes, and usually they wear like a little goggle over it, which it's never explained where they get that goggle situation or why.
Yeah.
There's rumors. There's rumors.
There are.
There's rumors of the origin of why they look that way with that goggle. Do you know this?
No, tell me.
Oh, so apparently I guess it's a reference like to like the Holocaust. Yeah,
of course.
I don't think it really is, but it's what people are saying, because apparently there was some like experiments done with like kids, as we all know, and there's these pictures of seemingly kids in these suits that are domes with one glass like eye to see through, where they would be they would like test things on them using those suits, and apparently it would like stunt their growth, and so that's supposed to be why they're like not very intelligent, because I guess they're kids, and also why they look that way. And I don't think it's true at all, but there's a whole corner of the internet that believes that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I went down like a wormhole of YouTubes about like Minions created by Nazis. I was like, what?
Well, that's very interesting. That's very interesting. I just thought that they were all going to Burning Man. That's what I thought was happening. But
that would make sense too. They're pretty like
free love.
What's the word I'm looking for? I should really know this word. They just don't give a fuck. They're like very laissez-faire. Freewheeling. Yeah, they're just going for it.
Yeah.
And they're bad boys.
They are bad boys for sure. They have like 3 different types of hair. Some of them have no hair. Some of them have like a little spiky bit of hair. They're usually like 5 strands at most, and some of them have a part down the middle. They're like between a third and half of like human size. They have no nose, no ears, but they do appear to be able to hear and smell. They like smell fruit. They hear people giving them tasks. They love bananas, which is a little narcissistic, I think.
I hate it.
I hate how much.
It's like it's created a whole thing where like there's people that's just their punchline now. It's cheese humor.
Yes, banana.
It's like, oh, but banana. Okay, cool, hilarious.
It's very boomer humor. The Minions, we'll talk about how much the boomers have accepted them and embraced them as part of their culture, which is weird because it's not for them. But yeah, you said that you've watched the movies, so I'm sure you know the origin story of the Minions as told through Minions the movie, right?
Yeah, they're like an experiment, right?
Yeah, well, they like it seems like they've been around for a really long time. They've been around way before humans were around. They started as like a single cell organism, and they started like following the biggest guy around. And at the time, the biggest guy was a bacteria, and that was like a really helpful evolutionary tactic for them. So they kept on doing it. and that ended up evolving into them following the most despicable boss they can find. And before humans, it's predators like dinosaurs. But then the problem is they like outlive all of their bosses. They outlive everyone because they are immortal and invincible. Nothing seems to be able to kill them. So they also end up killing all of their bosses.
Yes, while trying to help them. They
Yeah.
inadvertently lead to their downfall.
Yeah. And then finally man comes along, and that's like the evilest of all beings. So they're super excited.
Yes. Nobody beats humans for evil.
Yes.
That is like the message of Despicable Me, is like, we are the cancer.
Yes.
Basically, yeah. Because minions they stopped following animals as soon as humans showed up.
Yeah, immediately. They were like, oh, these are the guys. And like they served, Egyptians. They served pharaohs in ancient Egypt. They served Dracula, apparently, in the Dark Ages. They served Napoleon. And then they found sanctuary in an ice cave and forged their own civilization, conveniently when Hitler was around.
Yeah, they didn't want that.
So there's no...
that is interesting. Like, we're just not going to acknowledge that.
Yeah, it seems like, from the movie, they were helping Napoleon on the invasion of Russia. They blew him up with a cannon, and then they got chased into a cave, and they just hung out there for 100 years or so, or 150 years, just long enough to not have to be involved in the Holocaust. I do dispute their characterization of Napoleon as evil. He's a progressive force in history. British were much more evil at that point. But whatever,
I dispute a lot of their choices of who to serve. I think that like later on when they're fighting on behalf of the queen, they should be serving the queen.
Well, that's the thing though, and is that they are these weird Nietzschean sort of Randian fantasy creatures, because they embody like the idea of like an actualized like slave mentality, like because they go to their Arctic cave and they live there, they create a civilization, but then they just get depressed.
They get depressed because they have no one to serve.
They have no meaning because they're not capable of generating meaning. They need to find someone who can give the meaning, a literal master to serve. And that's why they have to find like people who are self-conscious villains, as opposed to, like you could say the worst evildoer when they emerge back into civilization in the 60s. Well, it's like, well, yeah, America, obviously, go to the White House, like we're doing the Vietnam War. Who's worse than us? But American leaders have this, mask of virtue that they even wear in private. They haven't gone beyond good and evil, which is what villains do. Like self-conscious villain is like being bad as like an aesthetic choice and as an expression of their will to power, which the minions are drawn to. They're like, yes, this is what we want. We want to find meaning by carrying out the vision of a world soul that pushes through like all of the hypocrisies of civilization.
Minions are kind of the most pragmatic of everybody, because their whole thing is like survival, right? And like you find the bad guy, you find a powerful bad guy. You're also finding, because if you watch them, they'll do anything that needs to be done to get the job done, including like, it doesn't matter what's right or wrong. It just matters that it gets the job done and you get more bananas. And as long as you get your bananas, it's just pure survival. It's something I think all of us can relate to, whether we want to admit it or not. Like think of all the poor people that were posting about working for weapons manufacturers and whatnot. They understand the plight of the minion. They're just trying to get their bananas.
Everybody's just trying to get their stacks of bananas.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I disagree with the categorization of them finding. I think the most evil, the most villainous thing that you can do is hide behind a facade of good. I think that you're saying that these leaders in America at that time were still thought of themselves as good behind closed doors, but I don't think that they necessarily saw themselves that way. But that's beside the point. Like you said, they were not doing well in the cave by themselves. They didn't have a purpose, so they decided to go out and find a villain to follow. And Kevin was like the leader. He was like, I'm gonna go out and find a villain to follow, and he needed someone to come with him. So he asked for any volunteers, and the tiniest little minion, Bob, said he wanted to join him. Kevin said, no, thank you. And then Stuart ended up going with him. Stuart is like a wannabe rock star who accidentally volunteered to go. But he got applause for volunteering, so he decided to go. So there's Kevin, the leader, Stuart, the rock star, and Bob ends up weaseling his way in there too. So Bob, the little baby. And they go on this journey, and they reach America in the 60s, and that is when they discover overalls. Before that, they're wearing these like fur coats, but they discover overalls in the 60s, and that is what they wear from then on. So that is why they wear those overalls.
The movie answers the question everyone had: where did the Minions get their overalls?
They don't answer the question about the goggles.
Never answer. They come out of the primordial ocean with goggles on.
Yeah.
Where the hell did they get them?
It's like they're built into their system. And then,
well, they needed eye protection before they had shame. So they understood what it is to protect your eyes, because some of them only have one, but to have shame was something they didn't really understand until they left the cave.
True.
We did that to them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like, huh. Okay. So I'm just thinking about the cave, them leaving the cave now, and any connections between that and like Plato's cave. But I'm not sure I see it yet. Maybe
Generous.
I need goggles. So then when they're in America, they get stuck in this mall, and they're stuck there, so they turn on the TV. While they're watching TV, they accidentally find this top secret villain network and decide to hitchhike to VillainCon, which is like the cartoon version of the Appalachian meeting of the mob bosses in 1957, right?
I mean, yeah, the fifth. If criminals, I mean, those were our real criminals. What they have are the more fun criminals who aren't just a bunch of fat Italian murderers, just guys, people with like jetpacks and capes and all this kind of the fun stuff that you don't see in real villainy.
And it's fittingly in Florida, in Orlando, Florida, because that's where villains should meet. And they get picked up by a family of bank robbers who are also on their way to VillainCon. And at VillainCon, they get obsessed with this villain. Her name is Scarlet Overkill, and she's the world's first female supervillain. She's a feminist villain.
Yeah, she's a girl boss.
She is a girl boss. Important. It is.
She's very important. She's doing it. She's doing it with style and with grace.
She is. Oh my God, she is so stylish. And she's a boss, and she has a husband, Herb, who like works for her and is basically a henchman and gear man for her. So that's girl bossery, having a man working underneath you. And she has this contest for who can steal this ruby out of her hand, and the minions sort of stumble their way into winning that contest. Like they're literally in a dog pile, and the littlest one, Bob, swallows the ruby accidentally. So they become her henchmen. And the job that she gives them is to steal the crown from the queen. And they go and try to do that. And in the process of doing that, they do steal it. They're on their way, but then they get caught. The police are running after them. And Bob is being chased, and he runs into the sword in the stone. And he takes the sword out of the stone, like he's able to pull it out. And because of that, he becomes the king, which is not a thing. That is not how the sword in the stone works.
It should be, though. If the British want to increase tourism, which they should, their country is circling the toilet, they should put up, they can just tell people, hey, this is the sword in the stone, put it in public, and then let you pay to try to take it out. With the idea being anyone who actually does it gets to be the king. Or queen, whatever. I think I think that is what it says at the one at Disneyland. I know it's not. I think if you pull the one out at Disneyland, you also get to become the king of England.
Oh wow!
It's some sort of weird thing some sort of weird deal that they struck. I think it says it on the tip of the sword, but we don't know because
we
no one's pulled it out.
No one's pulled it out yet.
Some say that's what's holding it in.
Have you tried to take the sword out of the stone?
Of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Is that in Disneyland or Disney World? That's in Disneyland.
Disneyland.
I've never tried to. I've gone to Disneyland many times.
You could have been Queen of England this whole time if you tried.
Very strong.
Yeah.
Huh.
You could have like saved people. Like
I could have.
If you were the queen, like maybe some, I don't know, it made an impact. I think.
Could have arrested the royal family for one thing.
It's not too late.
It's true. You have a chance.
Well, I did just turn 35 today, which means I can now run to be president of the United States.
That doesn't involve any
Awesome.
Right. It does if I want it to.
I don't think that's the hope.
Once you become president, you can enact the swords.
Yeah, you have to become president first, and then you can make the sword law. That's the problem.
Mean,
that's catch-22.
I can just carry around swords if I want to.
It's true, but they're not going to let you in the White House.
One of my best friends, Mal, she last year talked all year she just talked a lot about how much she loves swords. She's like, she loves fantasy and Lord of the Rings and Gambo, and she loves swords. And then her birthday came around. 5 different people gave her swords for her birthday. So now she just has 5 swords.
She went from no swords to way too many swords.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's great. I could borrow some swords from her.
That's true.
Yeah.
You should just stay strapped.
Yeah.
Once I have 5 swords, then we have swords. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like that's the energy. I like that. That's good. Have them at your door like umbrellas.
Yes. Oh my God, I love that. Yeah. And then you have like a sword basket for when people come in with their sword. I mean, because then it's like that way nobody's having swords within your house, because that's kind of rude. And also if you leave a sword, you're like, you know what, someone's going to need that in the future. They'll take that sword next time they need it.
Pass that sword on,
Yeah. Pay it forward sword wise.
Yeah. Take a sword, leave a sword.
Yes. I love it. So Bob accidentally becomes the King of England, and that makes Scarlet really, 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 really mad. And she like orders her husband Herb to kill them. And in trying to kill them, we find out that the minions are invincible. Like they feel pain, but that you cannot kill them.
They're cursed beings in any sense. Like that they are in more psychic torment than any human could conceive of.
Which makes me like curious about this whole what you were talking about earlier, Tony, about them being survivors, like the ultimate survivors. Why are they so concerned with survival when they clearly are unkillable? They're going to survive.
They don't know that though.
See,
the
curse of immortality though is that you realize you do throw everything aside for efficiency. So it's not that they're like being bad; it's that they don't care that they're being bad, because it's all about efficiency. They just know, and I agree. Why would you go work for the bank when you can go rob the bank?
True.
And like that's just, and if you happen to meet a guy who has a giant drill, a giant drill and some fancy weapons that we never heard of, like that's where you're gonna go. That's gonna be easier than and if you're mortal, you have to really respect the person you're gonna shuffle for.
Yeah. And if you're immortal, like what is good and evil? Like what? Like
exactly.
You're beyond those concepts.
Yeah.
So the movie ends with Gru showing up and taking the crown of the Queen of England, and then they just follow him, which is because like this is a prequel to the Despicable Me movies, which were supposed to be about Gru. And I gotta say, Steve Carell is one of the most cucked men of all time, because he was supposed to be the star of that movie, the Despicable Me franchise, and immediately everyone was like, "Yeah, Gru, get out of here. Who cares? Fuck you.
Yeah.
We want this little green guy, the yellow bit. We want the yellow men. We want yellow men." There's no Gru. Are there any Gru memes out there? I've never seen it. If there are Gru memes, it's a fraction.
No. The Gru memes are only going to be about these movies. The Minion memes are for everything else.
Everything.
So if it's a Gru meme, it's about the movies.
Okay.
But like the thing about the Minions, what's funny, because we're talking about how he didn't have TV, the creator.
Mm-hmm.
and that's supposed to spawn like creativity, right?
Yeah.
But he's creative in this way, but it's also this way where he created this character that's like the lowest common denominator, but he treats it with like so much respect. So there's hundreds of them, and they are all uniquely drawn. There
They
is
are.
no two minions that are alike. And like the way that they talk, that's like they made up a language that's consistent throughout the whole thing. So they really treated this with like a craft. This is like a real like he really went for it. And it's the one guy doing all the creator.
Yeah,
He's one guy doing all the voices.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's like an art. And so I think people really that resonated with people. We respected that. Like Steve Carell's whatever. He's whatever. He's not he wasn't the artist in this that the Minions were. The voice he does is awful.
It's just some half-assed Eastern European accent.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, every Minion
super half-assed,
artisanally crafted.
Yes. Not only are they artisanally crafted. Well, Pierre Coffin, he co-directs the Minion movies, all of them. He drew them. He voices all of them, like you said. And it's like their language is this combination of French and Japanese and Spanish. And they also, in other countries, they redub the Minion voices so that they make sense in those languages. Like it's even though it's a separate language, they still are like, okay, well, now that we're in Japan, we need it to be like have like a more Japanese kind of spin to it. Like he could have just said this is nonsense language, so then you can take like the same like 5 sayings and have them repeat them in different scenarios, but he doesn't.
Yeah, fine craftsmanship.
They're communicating. You know what's really sad is with just a really rough Google, it says the poor guy's only worth 10 million.
I know, I saw that.
I looked that
up a while ago.
That's wild.
Like, one guy, these Minions are everywhere. They probably made $1 billion like a day when they first came out in merch. And this guy's got nothing. He's got no percentages here. He got absolutely owned.
Yeah, he made them. He is the Minions, and he clearly doesn't own the licensing. Like because if he did, he would be worth billions of dollars.
Well, the only other alternative, because he is European, they have higher taxes. He very well could have like offshore accounts to avoid high European French tax rates, and he's actually got like there's a Minions Cayman Islands account with like $4 billion in it. We don't know.
Are you saying he's a secret villain?
Wouldn't that be something? If the guy created his own Minions for his own evil schemes,
and those Minions serve him.
Yeah, and they do. They literally serve him. They bring the money to his house every day.
I don't know. I'm looking at pictures of this guy, and I really want to believe. I want to believe that he's really doing it out of the love of the art, of the craft. But those are the ones who tend to be the most evil sometimes, the ones that are convincing me they're so pure that they're probably yeah. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. That wouldn't shock me.
We'll find out one day.
Yeah.
The Netflix documentary.
That's exactly that's so funny that's what you went to with how much he is worth, because that's exactly the first thing that Matt brought up when I was talking about him.
Because it's like this guy, these are all him. Like he invented them.
Yeah.
He invented a guy. How many people invent a guy nowadays? It's insane.
Yeah, I mean It's like the Minions are on the same level as, let's say, that, like you said, the Smurfs, or also what are the little guys? What are the other little guys? The little furry guys.
Furry guys.
Yeah, that you can't feed after midnight.
Trolls?
Gremlins.
Oh, Gremlins.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're on the same like level as Gremlins.
Right.
Or even Baby Yoda. Like people are just as obsessed with Minions.
I think that they've actually surpassed pretty much everything you just said.
I think so.
I think that they're beyond all those. Just like the Smurfs movies were flops. They were terrible.
True.
And like I think your average kid your average kid knows the Minion for the past. I think anywhere from like a child now to like, people in their 20s, and then also old people know who they are now too. Like, so they do transcend. I think they're one of the biggest they're one of the biggest things in, like, period.
Yeah.
So like they're not Baby Yoda, they're Star Wars.
That's true. You're right. You're right. I mean, they also like they benefited from the time that they were made. Like the Despicable Me came out in 2010, which was the height of social media. Like the height of Facebook was in 2010. Like that was when everybody and your mom, literally everybody and your mom, was on Facebook.
Right, and now it's just your mom.
Yeah.
Everybody left. Now it's just your mom. But yeah, there was a while there, the intersection when the young people who got on Facebook to start it off in the college, when it was a college thing, had been joined by everyone else. Like, whoa, what's going on with this Facebook? And of course, then them showing up drove off everybody else. But yeah, for a while there, for that very period, everyone was on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean,
and there was this new thing that they could use, this new visual vocabulary to express their beliefs, their opinions, their jokes. And it was, what if I put a little guy there next to my sentiment about how Blue Lives Matter or whatever.
Yeah,
it was just so perfect too, because it was like one of the last like profitable virality things. Because think about the song. Think about the song Happy. That song is massive. That is one of the biggest songs of all time. And like, so, and that was one of the last times where a song could pop like that and it could make the money it did. Like that doesn't happen anymore.
That's true.
Speaking of
it was all part of that. It was all part of that Minion Despicable Me ecosystem,
Yeah, the last gasp.
And anyone can draw them.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of that song, the Minions are actually a verified artist on Spotify, and you can go on there and see and listen to different songs covered by the Minions. There's a whole.
It's like Kids Bop for Minions.
Yeah. You can listen to "I Swear," and "I Swear." That's their most popular.
That's
song.
not.
Oh, I've heard those. Those are brutal.
It's brutal.
Does Pierre sing those too?
Yes, I think so.
Because he's still doing the language, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gibberish.
Let me see. Song.
Yeah, that's wild.
Written. No. Performed by the Minions. It says performed by the Minions. It must be him, right?
How is that? That can't be a legal credit. How's the union allowing that? How is RIA allowing that? How do you send residuals to the Minions? Ridiculous.
Pierre needs better lawyers for sure. Pierre's kind of blowing it.
He's getting owned. He's dropped fumble. How are you fumbling this bag, Pierre? Come on.
There's three different videos on YouTube for Happy.
Mm-hmm.
One of them has 126 million views. The other one has 1 billion. The other one has 1.1 billion.
What? So the one with
Yes.
100 and something million is the lowest number. That's the
Is
lowest.
the lowest number
Combined.
Yeah.
That's over 2 billion views.
That's
There's another one that has 99 another 99 million. It's it's one of the biggest things ever.
Wow. I mean, I do.
Is there a Minion version of Happy? Is the question.
Oh,
where
yeah.
they're singing Happy.
This one says featuring Minions.
Yeah, no, of course there is. It's in the movie.
Them singing it?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. I don't remember hearing them sing it.
Okay, well, I'll have to look for it, but
it makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm not like that. We just did an episode on Facebook, right? And like I have been sort of off Facebook recently. For the last like few years. It's just it's a bad time energy wise for me. I go on there and I get sad. So the only things I really post are things that I post through Instagram. I have that thing on, so it's like automatically post there, and I do that mostly so that like my older sisters can see what I'm up to, and like my aunt and uncle who are on there who constantly want to know what I'm up to, but aren't on Instagram. So I'm not that aware of the Minion memes, but Matt did show me a few of them, and I know that you had a couple that you wanted to.
I'm a fan of the tactical Minion.
The tactical Minion.
Oh yeah.
Someone put the Minion in a U.S. military garb, gave him a plate carrier. He's got an AR, and he looks like he's about to just take out an Afghan village.
Those are the best.
Yeah.
I'm just like looking up. I see him here. I see the tactical minion.
Yeah.
They have.
Oh yeah, so good.
That's a weird thing to do.
You think it's weird to make to give a little guy like that a fucking a full out kit and a gun?
There's a minion here that's a tactical minion that is dressed in all pink, which is very interesting.
Oh yeah, so good.
Because like there are no
Yep.
There are no lady minions.
It's the woke military.
It's so the woke military has taken over that one. It's so that's the thing about the Minions, right? So the name of our show is Minion Death Cult, and it's a terrible name, but the thing is it's real, you know. So we've for some reason Minions have become like the spokesperson of a certain demographic of Facebook user.
Yeah.
Who are saying the worst things possible, and for some reason they just do the little word arts. And then they throw a minion on there. But like you said, oftentimes that minion is like holding a gun. And I don't know if they are aware of the minion and what the minion is and does, or if they're hyper aware because, you know, like we were talking about, the minion serves like the most like evil person, right?
Yeah.
And so like for instance, like the first one I was looking at is it's just a minion, just a regular minion. Looks like it's drawn by the DreamWorks or Illumination.
Yep.
With the AR, and just in really great word art, it says, "This deplorable is ready for the revolution."
Oh my god!
And this is posted to the Team Trump 2020 Facebook group.
How many minions were at January 6th? This is what I want to know.
Oh well, everyone at January 26th was a minion.
But how many of them were wearing minion garb? I bet it's more than one. That's for sure. How many of them had like?
There's for sure
outfits.
We've seen like minion patches on like awful people.
Oh my
on, like,
god!
Plate carriers. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah, so it's like it's a real thing.
But that's just it. Like they have decided. Like the deplorable thing is perfect. Like Hillary called them deplorables. The media followed suit. They have decided, well, all right, if the mainstream culture has these values that I think are bad, and they're going to call me bad and call me a villain. Then I guess I have to be. I'm not going to say I'm not because what? I'm trying to prove it to you. I don't respect you. I think you're bad. So guess what? I am bad. I am a minion.
Yeah, I think it's
Donald Trump is the chief villain that we serve.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's a reaction to and a like an evolution of fad that was happening in the 90s and 2000s, which was to take a villain and find their origin story and sort of show them as a human, like, you know.
Yeah. Almost like an anti-hero, make them sympathetic.
Yes. And I think the like it started off with Wicked. The novel Wicked was written in 1995.
Yeah,
and then it came out in 2005, and it's the story of the Wicked Witch in The Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Have we done a Wicked episode?
I would love to do a Wicked episode.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh.
And I've read the book.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tap into like theater girl culture.
Oh yeah, I was a musical theater kid, so absolutely.
I ran the lights my way into some pussy one time.
Lovely. I mean, I think that trend was about how the. No, you can't look at the next one. You don't get to look ahead. Matt's trying to skip ahead to the next meme.
I wanted to see the memes.
Okay, fine. So that trend is about how history is written by the victors, right? It's like how it's maybe the people that we see as villains are not actually villains. They're just been shown that way because they lost. But it's gotten fucked up over time, and they kind of strayed away from that message. And the Minions are kind of following that same trend, but they're not. They're the people they're following are actual villains. Like they're not. They're bad. They're actually. Yeah. I mean, not Gru. Gru's not that bad, honestly.
Well, He's literally a cartoon villain. He wants to do cartoon stuff, like steal the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who cares?
Yeah, and when he steals the moon, it's not even going to mess up the tides or anything.
Right.
It's just...
But the thing about the villains, though, is that the villain is usually doing something bad to make something right for them. They feel slighted, right?
Mhm.
And like who is the demographic that really, the MAGA thing really, it resonated with, are people who feel slighted. They feel like something was taken away from them. Maybe it was their parents at a young age, like a villain would be.
Yeah.
And so they kind of identify with they're doing something bad, but because in the movies we're rooting for the minions.
Yeah.
You're never not rooting for the minions. So, and they're cute and they're likable. So it's this tool to like say, hey, I'm going to do this awful thing, but just like these minions, it's like it's for a good thing. Like in the next meme, it's these they're more stylized this time, but they're two minions just being really cheeky, really cute, holding some sort of like taser gun. But then the text is like, oh, whoa, this is worse than the deplorable one, because they're straight up saying, it says, top text, my doctor told me to start killing liberals. Like, what? I don't think that, do they even say like kill in Despicable Me? And
Minions don't kill anybody. Not on purpose.
Yeah, they don't kill anybody. And then, but then it says in the bottom, just to clarify, they say, well, not in those exact words. He said I had to reduce the stress in my life. Same thing. So like they're saying this awful thing. Hey, we have to kill liberals because they're stressing me out. And I'm going to use these little cartoons to kind of like,
it reminds me,
make it palatable,
less psychotic.
Yeah, it reminds me of another meme that I saw of them yesterday. That was like, I had a bad day. I lost my, no, the one about the bus. I had a bad day. My wife got hit by a bus, and I lost my job as a bus driver.
Oh yeah, that was it.
Oh yeah, yep. And did it have Minion on it?
I would love to murder
my
wife.
I would love to murder my wife is what that meme says. I want to murder her. Which, I mean, I know like my wife jokes have been around for a long time, but
you shouldn't have a cute little guy.
There's a cute little guy
fantasizing about it. One of the posts you reminded me of was one of the funniest things from the Trump era. Was on Halloween when a kid came up to the White House trick-or-treating in one of those inflatable Minion costumes. And Trump was absolutely baffled by it and kind of fascinated with it. And he did one of the weirdest things Trump has ever done, and that is saying a lot, is he was handing out like the big, flat, full-size candy bars to these kids. And instead of giving it to the kid and putting it in his bag, he put it on top of the Minion's head. And then he left it there, and then it moved, and it just fell off.
Of course it did.
So
it was in one of those inflatable costumes, the one that has the fan all the time. So it's just he put it on like a fabric pillow, like a fabric balloon,
and it slid off.
Not
of course it did. I wondered. I've always, since that happened, I've always thought maybe he thought there was like a slot in the top or something. Like he thought. Did he think it was real for a second? Did he think that was like a real guy? Like that the kid was like that was an actual body or something? Because like he could feel it on his head or something. Amazing. One way or another,
it was so good.
Like Minion, and I do wonder if he asked questions after the show about that. Like, what was that little guy? Yellow child.
What was that?
What's his deal?
What was that?
What was going on with that?
As a small orange man, I think a little yellow child sounds appealing to him.
Excuse me.
He probably would have been like,
"Man, thank you very much."
Okay, he's large.
I saw that movie. I can get some of those guys, right? I saw the movie. You guys can get me some of those. I can just have. They're real.
I mean,
that's amazing.
He is, and he is a classic example of someone who has been said to be bad and evil, and instead of like rejecting that and saying no, I'm good, has said, you know what, you're right, I am bad.
But bad is, ask yourself, what do you think is good? Do you think these nerds are good, or do you think I am?
Yeah.
If that's the case, then maybe bad actually is good after all. Become a minion. Embrace it. Embrace your destiny. Become a tactical minion. Storm the Capitol.
let it take you away. You know, let it wash you over you.
Yeah. No more stress. No more worrying about my career. Oh, my kids respecting me. Forget about it. Just lose yourself in the ocean of minions. Lose yourself in the mission, the vision that I have.
Lose yourself in the minion the moment you want it.
It's a really terrifying thing that people have embraced, and like, you know, even the military has embraced it. There's the one, I don't have the picture of it, but there's the one of the it's a like aircraft carrier, but it's a gunner, and like the gun is kind of shaped like a minion, and they really covered it with like a minion. They like turned the gun into a minion,
like the way they used
and
to.
It's a real U.S. Navy aircraft carrier with a real gun that's now dressed like a minion.
Oh my God! Like instead of the way they used to
they put
paint
sexy babes on bombs.
Yeah, or paint jets look like a shark.
Yeah, the shark mouth on like the fighter jets.
It's now
freaking minion. That's not a good trajectory, I don't think.
It's like that, except for it's even worse, because instead of being like a cool hand painted babe on the nose of a ship, it's like when they cover the target balls with cloth to make them look like pumpkins. It's like it's an even like less cool thing. There was another one going around of like a tank being transported.
Yeah, we saw that one. This is very good.
It has a minion on it. The minion has a high and tight, like a flat top, which is not a haircut option for minions.
Oh my God, they do not do that. That is not in Minion lore.
He's a jarhead minion, and he's on top of a missile.
He's surfing on a rocket that's clearly going to go kill some folks, and that's like on a real U.S. military actual tank. Like this is real. It's really interesting.
It's bizarre. I mean, I think that like you were asking early on, like, do these people know the Minion like lore or like about minions? Do they not know about it, or do they really know about it? And it seems to me like they really know about it, and they're saying like, hey, we know we're evil, but we're like evil for like a good reason, and so we have these guys following us
because evil is good. You're wrong. Your culture is wrong. Your values are upside down, and so that means the things you call bad are good, and that means that evil minions are in fact the evil is good and minions are good, and what things that minions do are good, even if it's firing a rocket at your house. If there is like an escalation of political violence in this country, someone in like the near future is going to, their last sight is going to be someone like with an AR in a minion outfit, like killing them. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to be the last thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like, what's funny about the military using it is because they're so unaware of themselves using it, because if you're using a minion on, riding a rocket, or, it's now, your gun is now a minion, and it's because minions do this, like that's what you do.
Yeah.
And like minions are stupid. Minions are stupid little idiots. They're adorable because they're so stupid and they just want bananas and they're just so dumb. And like that's you now. Like you're saying that's you now. You do know that you're as close as it actually gets in real life, right?
Yep.
And I don't know if they do, and it's great to watch.
It's a phenomenon though, because I remember seeing a military recruitment event where they had guys dressed up in Star Wars stormtrooper outfits with like a camo. They had like digital camo stormtrooper costumes. Like,
hard.
Again, like, the clone murderer cops. That's us. That's what we do.
It's us. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but maybe they do know, and maybe they're like, well, it's like maybe it's the right's kind of version of smoothing your brain. Like maybe they're like, yeah, we want to be like stupid, but maybe the minions are stupid, but the minions are happy.
Yeah, happy.
They're having a good time.
The song is called
They know.
Happy.
Yep.
Oh
my God, this picture of this like smart car that's got a zillion
bumper stickers
on it.
Yeah.
Including a giant thing that says Screw Jane Fonda. And it's also got a U.S. Marine Corps sticker and a bunch of right-wing bumper stickers. But then, of course, it has just a shit ton of minions. Just minions marching across the entire rear windscreen.
What is that? What is
like
that?
The only time I've ever seen stickers like the Minions are, it's usually like hentai.
Yeah.
But this time it's not. It's Minions, and like the car is like has a huge. It's just a wild car. It's just a wild looking car that drives around and
driving around.
It's covered in United States Marine stickers and those stickers, and it's mind blowing.
Wow. And they have this car has a tail.
Yep.
This car has a furry tail.
I need to know what this person's deal is, because like.
What?
Instead of like these nuts hanging down,
instead of truck nuts, it has a tail hanging from like a guard by the bumper. Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Sorry, Tony, what were you saying?
Oh no, it's just like, what's this person like? Because typically like somebody like this wouldn't want a smart car.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think Jarhead. I don't think smart car.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when I think of like Angry Boomer, I don't think smart car, but like. You know, this person's clearly for it. Oh, this is a really important, because like sometimes it does break into like I'm going to send you this one right now.
Okay.
On the same place. What's funny about this is sometimes it breaks into like the real world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you remember when people found the Pinterest of Geiger?
No.
God, what? Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's the cop who like busted in on the guy's house and shot him while he was eating ice cream in Texas.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
Exactly. So on her Pinterest was filled with minions, and like one of the this cop who like who like kicked the door down and just shot someone eating ice cream, just awful human being.
Yeah.
Had the one with just like the perturbed minion, and it said, "People are so ungrateful. No one ever thanks me for having patience not to kill them." And it's like,
oh my god,
dog.
The irony, dude.
That's the one. That's the one you had. That's the one you had on there.
Oh no.
Maybe because there's nothing to thank you for today. Like, Jesus Christ.
Maybe because you have no patience. You fucking
homicidal minions are a thing. That's why it's called, like, this is the whole thing. That's why our show has a stupid name. It's called Minion Death Cult, because it's real. Like, they're really like. They're homicidal. They're out for blood.
Go and die in the service of Gru.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Wow, it's amazing. I mean, these memes are wild, and I know that Facebook is like covered in them now. I do wonder what these people are like. I bet a lot of them are like are cops and people in that capacity, people in the army and stuff. I know that I have a family member who, I won't say who it is, but was at a cop convention thing for related work, and she had a tie on her shirt, and it was like coming out of the back of her shirt. She had a sweater on top, and then she had this tie coming out of the back of her shirt, and it like sort of poked out the back, and someone came up to her and said, I really like your tail. Like, I'm so proud of you for wearing it in public.
Tight.
And it wasn't a tail, but there is this like weird, I don't know, there's this connection to like furry culture and like anime culture and minions and like things that are like really fantastical and silly when you're in this work that is very real and very dark and like I think probably soul crushing if you think about it too long, too hard, that you kind of have to do something fucking silly to make you think that it's all a fantasy world and you're not really connected to anything and you're not actually hurting other individuals.
Yeah, you're turning it into a fun game in a fantasy realm.
Sometimes you can't wash the blood from your hands, so you have to replace them with paws.
Exactly. Yes.
You know.
This other one you said is very good. There was a Breitbart article about how the federal government is reinstating the death penalty, and someone just put a celebrating minion emoji, just a minion, just very happy about the idea that we're going to be executing people in Terre Haute again,
bringing back the death penalty. Yep, minions are celebrating. They love the death penalty.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, it's wild, and like it's just funny. It's just and it's somehow like evergreen. Because like I mean, we've been doing the show now for like 4 years, and memes have come and gone. Like most things are gone. Like this outlasted Pepe. Like that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
You know, this has outlasted so many meme formats and things. Like it is eternal. It has,
Staying power.
there's
Much
going to
like
be
the
more
Minions
movies coming out.
It has, it is much like the
Exactly.
Minions themselves. It's eternal. It's
Yeah.
it's immortal. It's an immortal meme form.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's because it is like they are a little guy. They like are like evil but cute. Like that's a very memeable situation. But I think it's also about the time that they came out in 2010
Mhm.
when like your parents were getting on social media. It's the first meme that they really would have encountered in large force, like a bunch at a time. And the boomers are not that like entrenched in meme culture, so they find something that works and they're going to stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
And Minions are it.
I wonder if like Illumination did like seed memes early on.
Yeah, that's a good question.
You know, like
a digital
there's
army, just people posting Minions
Exactly.
like on Facebook. It's possible.
They should have. That would have been a very smart tactic. I mean, I wondered that about the recent fad that we saw, which was this year, I think, that where it's the gentle minions culture phenomenon. There was when the Minions, the Rise of Gru came out. Yeah, the Rise of Gru. Sorry.
Wait a minute. That does sound like Guru.
It does, yeah.
I don't think that's a coincidence.
Yeah, wow.
That is their guru.
Gru
is their guru.
It's all going to end in Jonestown someday. Surrounded by a bunch of dead minions. Everybody taking Flavor Aid.
But
they can't die, but they can like one day ascend.
They can ascend, exactly. Collectively.
Yes.
With collective annihilation.
Yes.
It will happen.
I think they cannot die, but they can evolve. They are not looking to survive. They're looking to move to the next form.
They're going to shed their forms.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a bunch of teens showing up to showings of Minions Rise of Gru in suits, calling themselves gentle minions and causing a ruckus in the theaters.
Yeah, they were causing a ruckus. Some theaters, like there were some theaters in the UK that implemented rules where they were like, no minors are allowed to come in unaccompanied by adults. In suits, like no minors in suits. Like people put in dress codes. They're like, no suits allowed, which is such a funny dress code to put in.
Yeah, no, you have to wear a hoodie. You have to wear all the stuff that you get. Racist bans are used to kick people out of clubs.
Finally, some racist bans against white boys.
Yeah, you got to wear Timberlands.
Yeah.
Well, what's unique about the Minions thing is that these kids, these 16 to 20-year-olds. They grew up with the Minions. They don't know a world without Minions.
That's true.
You know, nothing has lasted that. Things don't last that long anymore.
That's true.
There's been more. To bring it back to another cultural phenomenon. We had to wait decades between. Not we, but people had to wait decades between the two Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ones between there was a long time. They didn't have to do that. They got it all the whole time.
They've been content for the last.
It's been fed the whole life.
So a young person has never known a world, never been conscious of a pop culture world that wasn't pumping out Minion content on the regular.
Yeah, so they're definitely I understand wanting to, wear a tuxedo, wear a suit to that. I respect it. The
fact that it's antisocial, I think, is key to it. Because they're embracing villainy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think the next the next big riot we're going to see, like the next antisocial rebellion in an urban area, like the London riots or Paris, I think you might see a significant Minion inflection there as well.
I mean, they are, and even these like teens who are going to the movies, I think they are aware that they are embracing villainy because they go to the movies, they cheer loudly and copy Gru specific. They copy Gru's steepled hand motions throughout the movie.
Oh yeah.
So they are very specifically going for that vibe. And they also throw bananas at the screen.
I love that.
Yeah.
Good old fashioned.
When society is destroyed, I think the Minions are going to have a large in bringing it down. It's going to give a framework for the nihilistic destructive impulse.
So I think because there is a nihilistic destructive impulse, and I think we are going to need a nihilistic destructive impulse on the left, I think we should embrace it, like take the younger generation and make them minions for our side,
right.
So that, we also have little dumb happy guys who are willing to go to any length to serve us.
Because that analysis, it says like the dominant culture's ideas of good and evil are inverted. That is correct.
Yeah,
that's not a wrong observation, and it shouldn't be monopolized by like antisocial, reactionary, boomers and their traumatized grandchildren.
I mean, because it is antisocial, yes, but like also the minions are a collective group. Like they survive and evolve together. They are always together. They have a collective mind. They like are a tribe. They're not antisocial as a tribe. They're just antisocial compared to like
the culture,
the others in the culture. Yeah.
I do got to say, because I really wanted to, I was hoping to think that this could be our bridge. This could be our thing where we get them to realize, hey, like you're right to be mad, but you're mad at the wrong things. But come on over. We're all minions here. But unfortunately, we are in a world where the culture war is a thing, and identity politics is a thing. And the Minions did the thing that the movie did the thing where there was a point where there was the anti-minion. There was a point where there was the anti-minion, the bad minions, and those minions were purple. Oh. And I just really wish they didn't make them two different colors.
Yeah,
because then because they're still gonna say like, okay, I understand that we're all minions, but some of these minions are not yellow.
I mean,
some of these minions are not yellow.
It's true. It is true. That is not. I didn't know that part, but that everybody knows in cartoon world, yellow is white, is like a white equivalent, like and Simpsons. Purple is the black equivalent. Yeah, like true. Look at Doug, like Doug Funny.
Yeah,
it's a classic. So that's kind of fucked. They shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. But like I don't know. It just sucks. It's only the one movie. We have this. We're gonna have to treat that movie, like the Dead Sea Scrolls. We're gonna have to rid of it.
Canonical. It's not making.
We're gonna have to. Yeah, it's not. That doesn't count. So I think they might be the key to uniting us as a proletariat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
We will see.
I think that's a good spot to end it. Thank you so much, Tony. Thank you for lending us your knowledge on Minions and your memes.
Of course, anytime.
It was awesome having you on. Thank you, Matt, again for coming on and standing in for Rax as my co-host. And thank you everyone for listening, for being our patrons. This is going to be a locked episode right now. It's going to come out tomorrow on Thursday, and then maybe we'll unlock it in the future. I'll let you know when that happens, Tony.
Awesome.
And if you want to share this with your friends, make sure they sign up as patrons as well. We are collecting more minions for Low Culture Boil. And Tony, where can people find you? I know that we talked a lot about your podcast, but tell us where they can find you.
You can find me. I'm on Twitter. My name is Word is Bond on Twitter. The show is Minion Death Cult. It's Minion Death Cult everywhere. We put out 2 shows a week. One is Patreon, one is free, and we just started a new thing. We're doing a stream every Saturday, Death Chat 500. Cool. It's through the Patreon. I think we give you your money's worth, and it's been a lot of fun. The chat's popping. It's a good time. So come hang out. Minion Death Cult everywhere. Come listen to us talk about awful people on the internet.
I will say Tony and Alexander do like really give you your money's worth. They also have like every once in a while they give away like different Minion merch that they find. They have like raffles for Minion merch, which is really fun. You should definitely join their Patreon and check them out. And Matt, where can we find you?
Chapo Trap House website podcast.
Cool.
Yeah,
good. You're clearly used to plugging yourself.
I do it all the time.
You can also find Matt on Twitter and Instagram too. I think on Twitter he's at Cushbomb.
Yeah.
And on Instagram he's he's not on there very often. So just look at my Instagram. You can find him there. And we will talk to you next time. Thank you. Love you. Bye.
Peace.